Hey guys, Kid here of Burn One. I'm here with another video. This time it's a little bit of a rant video, I guess. But yeah, let me just get into it. So here I am on the errata page for Weiss in the English set. So as time is going on, the English community keeps growing, it becomes more competitive, and we get more players and everything like that. One thing that hasn't grown with the game's growth in the English market is that the people who handle the translations of the cards do a very poor job of being consistent. So we're seeing things like really like, I don't know how to describe this other than like someone like just half-assing the job and not making sure that translations are consistent throughout the sets. It's become even more apparent lately. And with these types of translations always getting like incorrect or mistranslated, or that's missing information, it actually ends up hurting the community in the long run. So if I'm a new player and I'm getting into the game and I am trying to, I guess, well, the first thing on here is a writer of black. Say we play this as Astolfo, and as a new player I'm like, yeah, I give a character 4,000 power. End of discussion. It's not until end of turn, it's forever, because it doesn't say until end of turn. But in reality, the card has been errated to the correct version, which should have until end of turn in the text. Now, as a brand new player, it's pretty annoying when multiple cards, stuff like this, keeps coming up, and I'm like, well, my card says this, but apparently it's incorrect. I have to look up patch notes for this game every time a new set comes out just to make sure there are no mistakes. And having these mistakes exist in the tournament realm, so we go do regionals and stuff like that, people will be misplaying and losing to effects that aren't actually the way they're printed or how they're supposed to interact with the game. So for example, if someone plays this Rider of Black level 3 and gives something 4k power and says it's permanent and does it for multiple rounds of the tournament, and the only reason they got there was because their opponent and they themselves didn't realize that the card was errated to the correct wording of the text, is really bad and makes the whole competitive scene feel not as good. And especially when a new player gets into the game, it feels really bad when you start playing a card and you're like, oh, this card's so cool, only to be told, hey, actually that card doesn't do what you think it does. So we're getting really weird errors, like things just missing until end of turn. Another card here in the new contact collection set, like this isn't as bad. They just misprinted an icon in the bottom left hand corner during the reminder text, which is really weird. How does something like that get like messed up like that? It's just somewhere along the line someone was too lazy. Their quality assurance department must like not even exist or something, which is a bit troubling, because I mean, if this continues, it will definitely cause some people to either leave, or some people that potentially would have been a part of the community ended up not joining because the card quality is so garbage when it comes to the translations. Because if my card says something and you're telling me I can't play it, play the card the way the card is written, it's just really bad. Especially in the new Conte set, and also I saw some weird stuff in Konosuba, but it wasn't actually that bad. But things like, so like this Fubuki First Class Destroyer, its effect is completely different once the one word is changed. This is like really bad mistakes that should have been caught during the QA. There should be like at least 2 people reading the translations, looking at the cards in Japanese, and then looking at the English translations and double checking that, yeah, these are the correct effects. Like literally, it's like at most maybe an hour of extra work, probably less, once the full translation list comes out. And then we have things like this where the wrong effect is printed on the wrong card. So for example, this level 3 here has put a yellow character from hand, whereas this one has put a yellow card from hand. So they flip-flopped it looks like. And then the worst part is, moving forward after the Contai collection release, I didn't realize Contai was the first one this came up. The only reason I am actually looking at this is because I thought it was really weird that they translated robber or thief trait as robber trait in Konosuba set 2, and I wanted to make sure that set 1 was robber trait and not thief trait, because that doesn't always happen, but like weird interactions looking for that trait. Suddenly you have a thief trait and a robber trait, but in Japanese they're actually the same thing. So like in this case, like this 2-class light cruiser, this card just recently got errated because of the Kantai set. So when they printed the new Kantai collection set, what happened here was no one has a master list of how they translate certain traits that are very common through multiple sets, or no one actually went back to look how they translated it before. So we have older cards will say aircraft carrier, which is, yeah, that's basically what it is. But then the new set says they translated the same exact word as aircraft carrying, which is weird. Why would they do this? Like, this is some really bad Q&A, Q&A with Bushiroad, Singapore side of things. I believe Singapore is the people who handle the translations, because I know the USA office is super tiny. There's probably only like 10 people who work there at most. So weird things like this. Same thing here. We have aviation, battleship or aviation, or they had to have or aircraft battleship, because they screwed up here and translated it originally as aviation battleship, and then they changed. Now the new version of the cards say aircraft battleship, causing a lot of old cards that shouldn't even be having this issue popping up all the time now. It's a little worrisome looking at it from within the community as someone who really enjoys this game a lot and who loves to travel just to play and meet new people. Like really dumb mistakes like this is really upsetting to me and really worrisome as things go on, because we get some weird effects like this with my command spell ruler. At a locals, there was an argument about this because one person was saying no, it was not errata, the other person saying no, they errated it, and they had to look it up and stuff. And like one of the games, well, I think it was a casual game, basically got ruined because they're saying like all my characters get the 1 soul forever or whatever that is. And so it just makes for a really shoddy product and quality assurance, which is really upsetting, and in the long run not a good thing. I really hope Bushiroad starts getting a little bit of their translation acts together, because I mean there is no reason there should be an errata list this long in English for just translation mistakes. That's really, really, really weird that they let something like this slide so easily. But yeah, I mean, if the company isn't going to take their translation seriously, then some people just won't take this game seriously at all or anything like that. So, like, once again, this was an error that happened in Japanese, but they fixed it before printing. But apparently, on this Megumin, when they printed it in English, no one corrected the Japanese version that they gave them, I guess, which made it so before this could be a pay 1 tap in the back row to burn 4 as long as you have the climax combo, but they changed it where it has to be in the front stage or in center stage as they call it in English. So like this is, once again, this is another card that is just like could be abused awkwardly because of the error. And when someone's like, wait, let me read that card in the middle of a tournament, and like, oh, I guess that's what it does because that's what it says. But in reality, there was misprinted or untranslated extra stuff missing. So yeah, I'm not sure. It's, like I said, it's pretty upsetting when every set comes out basically always has translation errors. It's not even like very minor things. I can understand like, oh, you know what, someone accidentally let, like, for example, this blue gate up here, oh, we screwed up the icon thing when, you know, we're maybe editing the text files and we just uploaded it this way and no one caught it. Okay, one small mistake, it doesn't really impact the game a lot, but when we start getting into really weird translations like missing traits or translating traits differently every time, suddenly we're going to have this really long booklet we're going to have to start carrying around with us just to make sure the cards do what they say they do. Gotta make sure if there was no recent patch in the middle of a tournament to make sure my cards still do the same thing. I don't want to have to deal with like having to carry around patch notes all the time just for a physical card game like this. So I really hope Bushiroad kind of fixes this issue or looks into it more. Maybe hire 1 or 2 other quality assurance people to just literally spend 1 hour of the day before finalizing the translations to read all the cards in Japanese and then compare it to the English and make sure that the translation is correct, and hopefully no problems persists moving forward. One thing to note though, I'm pretty surprised that I don't see that there's any Konosuba 2 cards listed here, but to be fair, I'm doing this video the day before the official release for Konosuba 2, so maybe something will pop up here. When I glance through the cards I do have currently in English, I don't really see any errors, but I wasn't really looking for them. So hopefully Konosuba 2 just ends up having no translation errors, and moving forward we'll just like get rid of translation errors altogether. Besides that, guys, hope to see you guys in the next video. Later.